The spacecraft Nova 1 glided silently through the void, a sleek silver arrowhead slicing through the cosmos. Inside, the crew of the first wave of colonists prepared for their descent to Planet Novus, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. For many, this moment was the culmination of years of training, sacrifice, and dreaming. Now, they stood on the brink of a new frontier, ready to carve out a future among the stars. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the helm, her sharp eyes scanning the instrument panels before her. Every system was nominal, every indicator in the green. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Leading the first human colony on an alien world was a daunting task, but she was ready. "All hands, prepare for descent," she announced, her voice steady and authoritative. "Check all systems and secure all stations." Around the bridge, crew members sprang into action. Lieutenant Jackson, the pilot, adjusted the thrusters for atmospheric entry. Dr. Mei Lin, the geologist, secured her research equipment, ready to analyze the planet's surface the moment they landed. Security Chief Marcus Steele double-checked the emergency protocols, his eyes scanning the cabin for any potential issues. In the crew quarters, colonists strapped themselves into their seats, exchanging nervous glances and words of encouragement. Among them was Dr. Ravi Patel, a botanist with a passion for discovering new plant life, and engineer Sarah Kim, whose technical expertise would be crucial in setting up the initial infrastructure. Each person aboard carried their own hopes and dreams, united by the shared mission of building a new home. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The atmosphere inside Nova 1 was electric, a palpable mixture of fear and excitement. 7, 6, 5. The spacecraft shuddered slightly as it hit the upper layers of Novus's atmosphere, the friction creating a soft glow around the hull. 4, 3, 2. The colonists braced themselves, gripping the armrests of their seats. 1. The spacecraft jolted as it broke through the cloud cover, revealing the alien landscape below. A vast expanse of rocky plains stretched out beneath them, punctuated by jagged mountain ranges and shimmering bodies of water. The sky was a deep, rich blue, unlike anything seen on Earth. The beauty of it took their breath away. "Initiating landing sequence," Lieutenant Jackson reported, his hands moving deftly over the controls. The landing thrusters fired, slowing their descent as the landing site came into view, a flat, open area ideal for establishing their base camp. Commander Reyes watched the ground rise up to meet them, her mind racing through the countless scenarios and contingencies they had prepared for. Touchdown was critical. One mistake could spell disaster for the entire mission. But Jackson was skilled, and she trusted him implicitly. With a final gentle jolt, Nova 1 touched down on the surface of Planet Novus. A collective sigh of relief swept through the spacecraft, followed by cheers and applause. They had made it. "Welcome to Planet Novus," Reyes announced, a smile breaking through her usually stern demeanor. "Let's get to work." The colonists unstrapped themselves and began their preparations to disembark. The airlock hissed open, and Commander Reyes was the first to step onto the alien soil. She felt the ground beneath her boots, solid and real. Turning to face her crew, she raised her hand in a gesture of triumph. "Remember this moment," she said. "We are the first, but we won't be the last. Let's build a future here that we can be proud of." One by one, the colonists followed her, stepping out into the unknown. The air was crisp and cool, carrying unfamiliar scents and sounds. They gazed around in awe at the alien world they would now call home. The landscape was both beautiful and daunting, filled with possibilities and challenges. Dr. Mei Lin knelt to collect the first soil sample, her eyes shining with excitement. "This is incredible," she murmured. "The composition is unlike anything we've seen." Engineer Sarah Kim was already examining the surrounding area, plotting out the best spots for their initial structures. "We need to set up the shelters quickly," she said. "The weather here can change rapidly." Commander Reyes nodded, her mind already racing ahead to the tasks at hand. "Let's get the base camp established. We have a lot of work to do." The colonists moved with purpose, each person taking on their assigned roles. Tents were erected, equipment unloaded, and the initial surveys began. Despite the exhaustion from their long journey, adrenaline and excitement fueled their actions. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the alien landscape, the base camp took shape. It was a modest beginning, but it was theirs. For the first time since leaving Earth, the colonists gathered together, a small community in a vast, unexplored world. Commander Reyes stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over the horizon. The challenges ahead were immense, but so were the possibilities. They had taken the first steps, and there was no turning back. "Welcome to our new home," she whispered to herself, feeling a sense of pride and hope swell within her. "Welcome to Planet Novus." The journey had just begun. The dawn on Planet Novus broke with a soft, otherworldly light, casting long shadows over the fledgling base camp. Commander Elena Reyes stood outside her tent, taking in the alien landscape as it slowly emerged from the darkness. The sky shifted from deep indigo to a vibrant azure, an unfamiliar but breathtaking sight. She took a deep breath, the air crisp and carrying a faint metallic scent. Today was the day they would begin their true exploration of their new home. "All right, team, gather up," Commander Reyes called out, her voice cutting through the quiet morning. One by one, the colonists emerged from their tents, their faces a mix of eagerness and fatigue. Dr. Mei Lin, Engineer Sarah Kim, Security Chief Marcus Steele, and the rest of the key personnel assembled around her, ready for their first full day on Novus. "We've made it through the night," Reyes began, her tone both reassuring and commanding. "Now, it's time to start understanding this place. Dr. Lin, what's our first priority?" May stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement behind her glasses. "We'll need to conduct an initial survey of the area to map out our immediate surroundings. We'll be looking for water sources, plant and animal life, and any potential hazards." Reyes nodded. "Good. Sarah, how are we on supplies and equipment?" Sarah Kim, ever the meticulous engineer, had already taken stock. "We have everything we need for the initial surveys and construction. Solar panels are up and running, providing power. We can start on more permanent structures once we have a better idea of the environment." "Excellent. Marcus, security status?" Chief Steele's expression was serious, as always. "We had no incidents overnight, but we need to stay vigilant. Unknown terrain means unknown threats." "Understood. Let's move out," Reyes said, clapping her hands together. "Stay in pairs, keep communication open, and report back with any findings. Let's make today count." The teams dispersed, each with a clear mission. Dr. Mei Lin led a small group towards the rocky outcroppings to the west, eager to collect soil samples and study the geology. She marveled at the vibrant, crystalline formations embedded in the rocks, unlike anything found on Earth. The terrain was rugged, but navigable, and her team made quick progress. "Look at this," May exclaimed, holding up a sample. "The mineral composition is fascinating. This could be a rich resource for us." Meanwhile, Sarah Kim directed her team towards a potential water source detected by their preliminary scans. The journey was arduous, with the group navigating through dense alien vegetation. They reached a small, clear stream that bubbled up from the ground, its water sparkling in the sunlight. "Let's test it," Sarah instructed, setting up the portable water analysis unit. Moments later, the results flashed on the screen. "Clean, drinkable," Sarah announced with a smile. "This is a major win for us." At the base camp, Commander Reyes and Chief Steele monitored the team's progress and kept a watchful eye on their surroundings. Reyes couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, a natural paranoia born from being in an unknown environment. She checked in with the teams regularly, ensuring that everything was proceeding smoothly. As the day wore on, the teams returned, their packs full of samples and data. Dr. Ravi Patel, who had been exploring the local flora, brought back a collection of strange, bioluminescent plants. "These could be a key part of our agricultural efforts," Ravi explained, his excitement barely contained. "If we can understand how they thrive here, we might be able to cultivate similar crops." The colonists gathered around the central tent, sharing their findings and discussing the day's events. The sense of camaraderie was palpable. They were all in this together, facing the unknown as a unified team. "Great work, everyone," Commander Reyes said, addressing the group. "We've made significant progress today. We've found water, collected samples, and begun to understand the lay of the land. Tomorrow, we continue to build on this foundation. We'll start constructing more permanent structures and expand our survey area." As night fell once again, the base camp buzzed with quiet activity. The colonists reviewed their data, planned for the next day's tasks, and shared stories over dinner. There was an air of cautious optimism, a belief that they could overcome any challenge this new world presented. Commander Reyes stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over the darkening landscape. She felt a sense of pride in her team and in what they had already accomplished. But she knew there were still many unknowns, many challenges ahead. "We've only just begun," she whispered to herself, feeling the weight of the journey still ahead, "but we'll face it together." With that, she turned back to the camp, ready to lead her team into the future. They were pioneers, adventurers, and dreamers, carving out a new life on Planet Novus. And this was only the beginning. The sun rose over Planet Novus, casting a golden light across the landscape and stirring the colonists from their sleep. Commander Elena Reyes was already up, making her rounds to ensure everyone was ready for the day's tasks. The air was brisk, carrying a hint of the strange, metallic scent that seemed to permeate the atmosphere. Today, they would transition from temporary shelters to a more permanent base camp, a critical step in their mission. "Good morning, team," Reyes greeted the assembled group with a nod. "We made excellent progress yesterday. Today, we focus on setting up our base camp. This means more permanent shelters, power systems, and essential facilities. Let's get to it." The colonists quickly organized into their respective teams. Engineer Sarah Kim took charge of the construction crew, while Dr. Mei Lin and Dr. Ravi Patel continued their research on the local environment. Security Chief Marcus Steele kept his team on high alert, ensuring the camp remained safe from any potential threats. "All right, let's start with the foundations," Sarah instructed her team, her voice clear and confident. "We need to lay down a solid base for our structures. This ground is stable, but we need to make sure everything is secure." Using advanced portable tools, the team began to clear and level the ground. They worked efficiently, their movements practiced and coordinated. Sarah's design called for modular structures that could be easily assembled and adapted as needed. Each unit was made from lightweight, durable materials capable of withstanding Novus's harsh conditions. As the first foundation was laid, Sarah took a moment to admire the view. The alien landscape was both beautiful and intimidating, a constant reminder of the challenges they faced. She felt a surge of pride in her team and their collective effort to build a new home from scratch. Meanwhile, Dr. Mei Lin and her team were busy analyzing the samples they had collected the previous day. The soil, rich in minerals, showed promise for agriculture, while the water from the stream was remarkably pure. Ravi Patel was particularly excited about the bioluminescent plants he had found, believing they could hold the key to successful cultivation on Novus. "These plants have adapted to thrive in this environment," Ravi explained to May as they examined the samples under a portable microscope. "If we can understand their biology, we might be able to replicate their success with our own crops." May nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. "We'll need to run more tests, but this is a good start. Let's set up a small experimental plot and see how they fare in a controlled environment." Back at the construction site, the first shelter began to take shape. The modular units snapped together with precision, creating a sturdy, weather-resistant structure. Inside, the colonists would have access to all the essentials: sleeping quarters, a communal area, and a secure storage space for their equipment and supplies. Commander Reyes checked in with each team, offering encouragement and guidance. She was impressed by their progress and the way they had adapted to their new environment. The base camp was taking shape faster than she had anticipated, a testament to the skill and determination of her crew. As the day wore on, more shelters were erected, and the camp began to resemble a small village. Solar panels were installed to provide power, and water filtration systems were set up to ensure a steady supply of clean water. The colonists worked tirelessly, driven by the shared goal of creating a safe and functional base of operations. By late afternoon, the base camp was nearly complete. The colonists gathered in the central area, tired but proud of what they had accomplished. Commander Reyes addressed them, her voice filled with gratitude and determination. "Today, we've taken a significant step forward," she said, looking around at the assembled team. "We've built the foundations of our new home, but this is just the beginning. There will be more challenges ahead, and we will face them together, just as we have today. The colonists cheered, their spirits lifted by the sense of unity and achievement. They had come to Planet Novus to build a future, and today they had laid the groundwork for that future. As night fell, the base camp was bathed in the soft glow of bioluminescent lights, a fitting tribute to the planet that would become their new home. The colonists settled into their new shelters, grateful for the progress they had made and hopeful for the days to come. Commander Reyes stood at the edge of the camp, watching the stars twinkle in the unfamiliar sky. She felt a sense of accomplishment, tempered by the knowledge that their journey was far from over. But as she looked around at the base camp and the team that had made it possible, she knew they were ready for whatever lay ahead. "Good night, Novus," she whispered, a smile playing at her lips. "We're here to stay." With that, she turned and headed back to the camp, ready to face a new day on Planet Novus. The sun rose swiftly on Planet Novus, bathing the fledgling base camp in a warm, golden light. Commander Elena Reyes was already up, reviewing the day's objectives with her team. Today marked the beginning of their geographical survey, a critical step in understanding their new home and identifying resources essential for their survival. "All right, everyone," Reyes called out as the colonists gathered. "Today we're splitting into teams to conduct a thorough survey of the surrounding area. We'll be looking for water sources, mineral deposits, potential agricultural sites, and any hazards. Stay in contact and report back regularly. Let's make this count." Dr. Mei Lin, the colony's lead geologist, was in her element. Armed with advanced scanning equipment and accompanied by a small team, she set out towards the rocky outcroppings to the west. The landscape was rugged, with towering rock formations that hinted at rich mineral deposits below. "We'll start here," May instructed her team as they reached the first outcrop. "Let's see what Novus has to offer." Using a handheld scanner, May began to analyze the rock's composition. The device emitted a soft hum as it gathered data, which was then displayed on a small screen. Her eyes lit up with excitement as she read the results. "This is incredible," she exclaimed. "The mineral content here is off the charts. We could have access to resources that will be vital for construction and technology." Meanwhile, engineer Sarah Kim led another team towards a nearby valley that preliminary scans suggested might contain a water source. The terrain was challenging, with dense vegetation and uneven ground, but Sarah's determination and expertise kept the team moving forward. "Keep an eye out for any signs of water," Sarah instructed. "If we can locate a reliable source, it will be a major asset for the colony." After several hours of trekking, the team reached a small stream, its clear water glistening in the sunlight. Sarah set up a portable analysis unit to test the water quality. Moments later, the device confirmed what they had hoped for. "Clean and drinkable," Sarah announced with a smile. "This stream could be a lifeline for us." Elsewhere, Dr. Ravi Patel and his team were exploring a dense forest to the north of the camp. Ravi was particularly interested in the local flora, hoping to identify plants that could be used for food, medicine, or other purposes. "Look at this," Ravi said, crouching down to examine a cluster of bioluminescent plants. "These might have properties we can use. Let's collect samples for further study." The forest was teeming with life, much of it unlike anything they had seen before. Ravi's team cataloged dozens of plant species, each one a potential key to unlocking the planet's secrets. Back at the base camp, Security Chief Marcus Steele monitored the team's progress and ensured their safety. He remained in constant communication, ready to respond to any emergencies. His vigilance was crucial in this unknown environment, where the slightest misstep could have dire consequences. "All teams, check in," Marcus called over the radio. "Status updates, please." "Team Alpha here," Mai's voice crackled through the radio. "We've found significant mineral deposits. This area has great potential." "Team Bravo reporting," Sarah said next. "We've located a clean water source. Preliminary analysis looks very promising." "Team Charlie checking in," Ravi added. "We've collected a variety of plant samples. Many of them show potential for cultivation and medicinal use." Marcus relayed the updates to Commander Reyes, who was pleased with the day's progress. Each discovery brought them one step closer to understanding their new home and securing their survival. As the sun began to set, the teams made their way back to the base camp, their packs filled with samples and data. The mood was one of cautious optimism, a shared sense of achievement permeating the group. "Excellent work today, everyone," Reyes said as they gathered around the central tent. "We've made significant strides in understanding the resources available to us. Tomorrow, we'll start planning how to utilize these findings to build a sustainable colony." The colonists shared their findings and experiences, their enthusiasm and camaraderie growing with each passing day. They were pioneers on a new frontier, united by their mission and driven by the promise of a new beginning. As night fell, the base camp buzzed with quiet activity. Data was analyzed, samples were cataloged, and plans were made for the days ahead. The sense of community and purpose was stronger than ever. Commander Reyes stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over the darkening landscape. The stars above were unfamiliar, but they filled her with a sense of wonder and determination. They had taken another important step forward, but she knew there were many more to come. "We're getting there," she whispered to herself, feeling a sense of pride in her team and their accomplishments. One step at a time. With that, she turned back to the camp, ready to lead her team into the future. They had come to Planet Novus to build a new life, and with each passing day, they were making that dream a reality. The next morning, the air was filled with anticipation as the colonists gathered in the central tent. Commander Elena Reyes had called a meeting to discuss the findings from the previous day's geographical survey and to make a crucial decision, selecting the site for their permanent settlement. Reyes stood at the head of the table, her expression serious yet hopeful. "We've gathered a lot of valuable data. Today, we decide where to establish New Hope Valley, our permanent home on Planet Novus. Each team will present their findings and recommendations. Let's start with Dr. Mei Lin." Dr. Mei Lin stepped forward, a series of holographic images displaying the rocky outcroppings and mineral-rich terrain she had explored. "Our survey revealed significant mineral deposits in this region," she began, pointing to the images. "The geological formations are stable, and the resources here could support our construction and technological needs for years to come. However, the terrain is rugged, which might make large-scale construction more challenging." "Thank you, May," Reyes said, nodding. "Next, engineer Sarah Kim with the water source." Sarah stood up, projecting a map of the valley where her team had discovered the stream. "We found a clean, reliable water source in this valley," she explained. "The terrain is more level, making it suitable for construction. Additionally, the surrounding area has fertile soil, which would be ideal for agriculture. My concern is the proximity to potential flooding during heavy rains, but we can engineer solutions to mitigate that risk." Reyes turned to Dr. Ravi Patel. "Ravi, your findings on the local flora." Ravi activated his own set of holograms, displaying the diverse plant life his team had cataloged. "The northern forest is teeming with plant species that have incredible potential for both food and medicinal use," he said. "The bioluminescent plants we found are particularly promising for sustainable agriculture. The forest itself offers a stable microclimate, but it's dense and would require significant clearing for large-scale development." Commander Reyes looked around the table, her mind weighing the pros and cons of each location. "You've all done excellent work," she said. "Now, we need to make a decision. We have 3 potential sites: the mineral-rich rocky outcrop, the fertile valley with the water source, and the biodiverse northern forest. Let's discuss." The room buzzed with discussion as the colonists debated the merits of each site. May advocated for the rocky outcrop, emphasizing the long-term benefits of the mineral resources. Sarah argued for the valley, citing the immediate need for water and agricultural potential. Ravi highlighted the northern forest's rich biodiversity and its importance for their research and sustainability. After hours of deliberating, the discussion began to coalesce around a compromise. Marcus Steele, who had been listening intently, finally spoke up. "What if we consider a hybrid approach?" he suggested. "We could establish our main settlement in the valley, where we have access to water and fertile land, but set up outposts at the other 2 sites for mining and research. This way, we can maximize our use of all available resources without overcommitting to a single location." Commander Reyes considered the proposal, a thoughtful expression on her face. That might be the best way forward, she agreed. We can create a central hub in the valley and develop specialized outposts. It will require careful planning and coordination, but I believe we have the skills and determination to make it work. The colonists nodded in agreement, the tension easing as they embraced the compromise. Reyes looked around at her team, pride swelling in her chest. Then it's settled. We'll establish New Hope Valley in the Central Valley and create outposts in the rocky outcrop and northern forest. Let's get to work on planning the next steps. The meeting adjourned, and the colonists dispersed to their respective tasks, energized by the decision. The valley would become the heart of their new civilization, while the outposts would ensure they harnessed the full potential of Planet Novus's resources. The next few days were a flurry of activity as plans were drawn up, resources allocated, and teams prepared for the construction of the central hub. The colonists worked tirelessly, driven by the shared vision of their new home. Engineers, scientists, and laborers all contributed their expertise, transforming the valley into a bustling construction site. As the foundations of New Hope Valley began to take shape, the sense of accomplishment and unity among the colonists grew. They were no longer just survivors on a distant planet. They were builders of a new world, pioneers of a future full of promise. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the emerging settlement, Commander Reyes stood at the edge of the camp, surveying the progress. The sight filled her with a profound sense of pride and hope. They had chosen their path and were moving forward together. "We're making history," she said softly, more to herself than to anyone else. "This is only the beginning." With renewed determination, she turned back to the camp, ready to lead her team into the next phase of their journey on Planet Novus. The early morning air was filled with the sound of construction as the colonists of New Hope Valley began their most ambitious phase yet, building the foundations of their new home. Commander Elena Reyes was at the center of it all, coordinating efforts and ensuring that everything proceeded smoothly. The valley, with its lush greenery and clear water source, was slowly being transformed into a thriving settlement. Engineer Sarah Kim stood by the first construction site, her sharp eyes surveying the progress. "We need to make sure the foundations are secure," she instructed her team. "This ground is fertile, but we need to ensure stability for the structures we're putting up." The team worked diligently, using advanced portable construction equipment to lay down the first concrete blocks. The shelters were modular and designed to be both durable and adaptable, capable of withstanding Novus's unpredictable weather. As the first structure began to take shape, there was a palpable sense of achievement in the air. Nearby, Dr. Mei Lin and her team were setting up the scientific outpost. The rocky outcrop they had selected for the outpost was rich in minerals, and Mei was eager to begin her research. She supervised the installation of the laboratory modules, ensuring that all equipment was properly calibrated and ready for use. "This site has so much potential," Mei said to one of her assistants. "If we can harness these resources, it will be a game changer for our technology and infrastructure." At the same time, Dr. Ravi Patel was busy in the northern forest, working on establishing the agricultural outpost. The bioluminescent plants he had discovered were being carefully cultivated in experimental plots, and Ravi was optimistic about their potential. "These plants are incredibly resilient," Ravi explained to his team. "If we can understand their growth patterns and replicate them, we could revolutionize our food supply." Back in the valley, the construction of the central hub continued at a rapid pace. The colonists worked together, their diverse skills and backgrounds coming together to create a cohesive, efficient team. Solar panels were installed to provide power, and water filtration systems were set up to ensure a steady supply of clean water. Security Chief Marcus Steele maintained a vigilant watch over the construction sites. He coordinated regular patrols and kept the colonists aware of potential hazards. His presence provided a sense of security, allowing everyone to focus on their tasks. As the days passed, the settlement began to take shape. The central hub consisted of living quarters, communal spaces, and essential facilities such as a medical center and a command center. The modular design allowed for flexibility, enabling the colonists to expand and adapt the structures as needed. Commander Reyes walked through the bustling camp, taking in the progress. She paused to speak with various team members, offering encouragement and addressing any concerns. The sight of the emerging settlement filled her with a sense of pride and determination. "We're building more than just structures," Reyes said during a meeting with her key personnel. "We're building a future. Every brick, every panel, every effort we put in now lays the foundation for generations to come. Let's keep up the good work." The colonists responded with renewed vigor, their spirits lifted by Reyes's words. The sense of community grew stronger with each passing day, as everyone worked towards a common goal. One evening, as the sun set and cast a warm, golden light over the valley, the colonists gathered for a brief moment of respite. They sat around a large table in the communal area, sharing stories and laughter. It was a rare moment of relaxation, a chance to bond and reflect on their journey so far. Reyes stood up, raising her glass in a toast. "To New Hope Valley," she said, her voice strong and clear. "To the hard work we've put in and the bright future we're building. Here's to us." The colonists cheered, the sound echoing through the valley. They had come a long way, but there was still much to do. As they celebrated their progress, they also looked forward to the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. With the foundations of New Hope Valley firmly in place, the colonists were ready to face the next phase of their journey on Planet Novus. They were pioneers, builders of a new world, united by their vision and driven by their determination. The future was theirs to shape, and they embraced it with open hearts and minds. As dusk settled over New Hope Valley, the colonists finished their work for the day and gathered in the central communal area. The sense of accomplishment was palpable. Structures now stood where there had been only open land, and the camp buzzed with the quiet hum of generators and the soft glow of newly installed lights. This was their first night in the newly constructed settlement, and it felt like a significant milestone. Commander Elena Reyes looked around at her team, their faces illuminated by the warm, soft light of bioluminescent lanterns Ravi Patel had fashioned from the native plants. Tonight, they would celebrate their achievements, but she also knew it was a time for reflection and to solidify their bonds as a community. "Gather round, everyone," Reyes called out, her voice carrying through the camp. The colonists formed a circle, the anticipation in the air mingling with the sense of the evening meal being prepared. "Tonight, we celebrate our hard work and dedication. We've laid the foundations of New Hope Valley, but this is just the beginning." The colonists cheered, and a wave of pride swept through the group. They had all contributed to this moment, each in their unique way. Engineer Sarah Kim stood up next. "I just want to say how proud I am of everyone," she began. "We faced challenges head-on, and we've come together as a team. The structures we've built are solid and ready for whatever Novus throws at us." Dr. Mei Lin nodded in agreement. "The mineral deposits we found are incredibly promising. We've only scratched the surface of what this planet has to offer. Our research here will pave the way for future innovations." Dr. Ravi Patel added his voice to the mix. "The flora here is astonishing. These bioluminescent plants are just the beginning. I believe we can develop sustainable agriculture that will not only feed us, but also provide medicinal resources." Security Chief Marcus Steele, ever watchful, smiled slightly. "We've had no major incidents, and that's a testament to everyone's vigilance and cooperation. But remember, we need to stay alert and protect what we've built." As the meal was served, the colonists shared stories of their journey so far, their hopes for the future, and the loved ones they had left behind. The communal dining area was filled with laughter and conversation, the bonds between them growing stronger with each passing moment. Later that night, Commander Reyes sat with a smaller group around a campfire. The flickering flames cast long shadows, and the air was filled with the soft murmur of voices. She took a deep breath, feeling a sense of contentment and responsibility. "Elena, do you ever think about what comes next?" Sarah Kim asked, her voice thoughtful. "Every day," Reyes replied. "We've made a great start, but there are still so many challenges ahead. We need to ensure our systems are sustainable, expand our infrastructure, and most importantly, maintain our sense of community. That's what's going to see us through." Dr. Mei Lin leaned in, her eyes reflecting the firelight. I'm excited about what we'll discover here. This planet holds so many secrets, and I feel like we're just beginning to unlock them. Me too, Ravi agreed. I think about the potential for new medicines and crops. It's exhilarating. Let's not forget why we're here, Marcus Steele added, his voice steady. We're not just surviving, we're building a new way of life. Every decision we make now sets the tone for the future generations. Reyes nodded, her heart swelling with pride and hope. You're right, Marcus. We're laying the groundwork for something much bigger than ourselves, and I have no doubt we're up to the task. As the fire burned down to embers, the colonists drifted off to their shelters, the first night in New Hope Valley drawing to a close. Commander Reyes stood and looked up at the alien sky, the stars unfamiliar but beautiful. Good night, Novus, she whispered. We're here to stay. With that, she turned and walked to her own shelter, ready to face whatever the next day would bring. They had built more than just structures. They had built the beginnings of a community, and she knew they would continue to grow stronger together. The first light of dawn on Planet Novus brought with it a new sense of determination. The colonists of New Hope Valley had established their base camp and celebrated their initial success, but they knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. As the camp stirred to life, Commander Elena Reyes convened a morning briefing to address the day's objectives and prepare the team for the obstacles they might face. Good morning, everyone, Reyes began, her voice carrying a note of urgency. We've made excellent progress, but we need to stay vigilant. Today, we'll focus on reinforcing our structures, addressing any supply shortages, and continuing our exploration and research. We need to be ready for anything. Engineer Sarah Kim stood next to a holographic projection of the settlement, highlighting areas that required attention. We need to reinforce the shelter's foundations and secure our solar panels against high winds. Additionally, some of our equipment needs recalibrating to ensure maximum efficiency. Dr. Ravi Patel raised a concern. Our food supplies are sufficient for now, but we need to accelerate our agricultural efforts. The experimental plots show promise, but we'll need more data to scale up our food production. Reyes nodded. Agreed. Ravi, focus on expanding the experimental plots. Sarah, prioritize the structural reinforcements. Marcus, continue your security patrols and keep an eye out for any potential threats. Let's get to work. As the teams dispersed, Sarah led her crew to the construction sites. The previous night's celebration was a distant memory as they faced the task of reinforcing the shelters. Using advanced materials brought from Earth, they worked to strengthen the foundations and anchor the structures more securely to the ground. Check the tension on those cables, Sarah instructed, her voice steady despite the pressure. We can't afford any structural failures. Nearby, Dr. Mei Lin was leading her team on another geological survey. The mineral deposits they had discovered were promising, but extracting them safely and efficiently was a complex task. Mei's team used portable drilling equipment to collect core samples, analyzing the composition and stability of the surrounding rock. We need to ensure that any mining operations won't compromise the integrity of our settlement, Mei explained. Safety is our top priority. Meanwhile, Ravi Patel and his team were busy in the agricultural plots. The bioluminescent plants they had discovered were thriving, but there were still many unknowns about their growth cycles and nutritional value. Ravi worked tirelessly, documenting every detail and adjusting the conditions in the experimental greenhouse. We're seeing good growth here, Ravi noted, examining a cluster of plants. But we need to be cautious. Any misstep could set us back significantly. Back at the base camp, Commander Reyes and Security Chief Marcus Steele monitored the situation closely. Marcus's patrols had been uneventful so far, but he knew better than to let his guard down. Stay sharp, Marcus reminded his team. We're in uncharted territory, and we need to be ready for anything. As the day wore on, the colonists faced their first significant challenge. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, and the wind began to pick up. A storm was approaching, and it was coming fast. Reyes called an emergency meeting to address the situation. Everyone, we need to secure the camp, Reyes ordered. Reinforce all structures, secure loose equipment, and prepare for high winds and heavy rain. We need to act quickly. The colonists sprang into action, their earlier fatigue forgotten in the face of the imminent threat. Sarah's team worked feverishly to anchor the solar panels and strengthen the shelters. Ravi's team moved their delicate plant experiments indoors, protecting them from the elements. The storm hit with a fury, lashing the settlement with wind and rain. The colonists huddled inside their reinforced shelters, listening to the howling wind and the pounding rain. Despite the conditions, they remained calm, trusting in the preparations they had made. Commander Reyes moved from shelter to shelter, checking on her team and offering words of encouragement. "We'll get through this," she assured them. "We've prepared well. Stay focused and stay safe." The storm raged through the night, but the reinforced structures held firm. By morning, the skies began to clear, and the colonists emerged to assess the damage. While there were some minor issues, the camp had weathered the storm remarkably well. "We did it," Sarah said, a note of relief in her voice. The reinforcements held. Ravi surveyed the agricultural plots, finding that the plants had survived the storm. "We're in good shape," he reported. "We can resume our work without any major setbacks." Commander Reyes gathered the colonists once more. "We've faced our first major test, and we passed. This storm was a reminder that we must always be prepared for the unexpected. Let's take what we've learned and keep moving forward." The colonists cheered, their spirits buoyed by their resilience and teamwork. They had overcome their first significant obstacle on Planet Novus, and their sense of unity and determination was stronger than ever. As the sun set on another day, Reyes looked out over the camp, her heart filled with pride. They were building more than just a settlement. They were forging a new way of life, one that could withstand the challenges of an alien world. "We're just getting started," she thought, a determined smile on her face. "New Hope Valley will thrive, no matter what comes our way." With renewed determination, the colonists of New Hope Valley pressed on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead on their journey to build a new future on Planet Novus. The days following the storm were marked by a sense of routine and renewed purpose in New Hope Valley. The colonists had proven their resilience, and now it was time to establish daily practices that would ensure their survival and growth. Commander Elena Reyes convened a morning briefing to outline the plan. "Good morning, everyone," Reyes began, her voice steady and authoritative. "We've overcome our first major obstacle. Now, it's crucial to establish routines that will help us maintain stability and progress. We'll focus on daily operations, resource management, and community-building activities. Let's get started." The colonists dispersed to their respective tasks, each team focused on a specific aspect of their new life. Engineer Sarah Kim and her construction crew continued to work on expanding the settlement's infrastructure. The recent storm had highlighted the need for additional shelters and reinforced communal areas. "Let's prioritize building more permanent structures for storage and research," Sarah instructed her team. "We need to ensure that our resources and data are protected." Dr. Mei Lin, along with her team of geologists, established a regular schedule for surveying and extracting minerals. The geological data they collected would be vital for future construction and technological advancements. "Consistent data collection will help us understand the long-term viability of our resources," May explained. "We need to be methodical in our approach." Dr. Ravi Patel's focus was on agriculture. The experimental plots were thriving, but Ravi knew that they needed to scale up their efforts to achieve sustainable food production. He organized daily checkups and adjustments to the greenhouse conditions, ensuring optimal growth for their crops. "These plants are our lifeline," Ravi said to his team. "Regular monitoring and adjustments will help us maximize our yield." Security Chief Marcus Steele implemented a rigorous patrol schedule to maintain safety and order. His team conducted regular sweeps of the perimeter and monitored the surrounding area for any potential threats. The presence of the security team provided a sense of reassurance to the colonists. "Routine patrols and drills will keep us prepared for any situation," Marcus emphasized. "We need to stay vigilant." Back at the central hub, Commander Reyes and her administrative team worked on establishing communication protocols and scheduling systems. Regular updates and clear lines of communication were essential for coordinating the colony's activities. We need to ensure everyone is informed and on the same page, Reyes said. Effective communication is the backbone of our operations. As the days turned into weeks, the routines began to take hold. The colonists adapted to their new schedules, finding comfort in the predictability of their daily tasks. The settlement thrived, with new structures rising and agricultural plots expanding. The sense of community grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, after a long day of work, the colonists gathered in the communal area for a meal. The sense of camaraderie was palpable as they shared stories and laughter. It was moments like these that reminded them of the importance of their mission and the bonds they were forging. Commander Reyes stood up to address the group, her eyes reflecting the pride she felt. "We've come a long way since we first landed on Novus," she began. "The routines we've established are helping us build a strong foundation for our future. But remember, our greatest strength is our unity. Together, we can overcome any challenge." The colonists cheered, their spirits lifted by Reyes's words. They were more than just a group of individuals. They were a community, a family, building a new life on a distant world. As the night fell, the camp buzzed with quiet activity. The colonists reviewed their data, planned for the next day's tasks, and shared moments of connection and support. The routines they had established were not just about survival. They were about creating a sense of normalcy and purpose in an extraordinary situation. Commander Reyes walked through the camp, taking in the sight of her team working together. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for each and every one of them. They had come to Planet Novus with a dream, and they were making that dream a reality, one day at a time. "We're building something special here," she thought, her heart swelling with pride. "And this is just the beginning." With that, she turned and headed back to her shelter, ready to face whatever challenges the next day would bring. The routines they had established were their anchor, guiding them as they navigated the uncharted waters of their new life on Planet Novus. The morning light bathed New Hope Valley in a golden glow, casting long shadows over the bustling settlement. The routines established by the colonists had brought a sense of stability and progress, but Commander Elena Reyes knew they could not afford to rest on their laurels. Today, they would focus on the future, planning the next steps for their growing colony. Reyes called a meeting with her key personnel, gathering them in the command center. The room buzzed with anticipation as they prepared to discuss their long-term plans. "Good morning, everyone," Reyes began, her voice steady and purposeful. "We've accomplished a lot, but we need to look ahead and plan for the future. Our immediate goals are to expand our infrastructure, ensure sustainable resource management, and strengthen our community bonds. Let's outline our priorities." Engineer Sarah Kim was the first to speak. "We've made great progress with our current infrastructure, but we need to start thinking about more advanced facilities. We need a dedicated research lab, a larger agricultural greenhouse, and improved storage for our supplies. Additionally, we'll need to consider the possibility of expanding our living quarters as more colonists arrive." Dr. Mei Lin nodded in agreement. "Our geological surveys have revealed extensive mineral deposits that can support these expansions. We should establish a dedicated mining outpost to streamline extraction and processing. This will also provide materials for technological advancements." Dr. Ravi Patel added his perspective. "Scaling up our agricultural efforts is critical. We need to diversify our crops and improve our food production techniques. Additionally, we should explore the medicinal potential of the native plants. This could greatly enhance our self-sufficiency." Security Chief Marcus Steele emphasized the importance of safety. "As we expand, we need to ensure our security measures are up to the task. Regular patrols and monitoring systems are essential. We should also consider setting up defensive structures to protect against any unforeseen threats." Reyes listened carefully, her mind piecing together the various elements of their plan. "These are all excellent points," she said. "We also need to establish stronger communication links with Earth. Regular updates and supply shipments will be crucial as we grow. Let's outline our immediate action items and assign teams to each priority." The room buzzed with activity as the colonists discussed and debated the details of their plans. Assignments were made, and timelines were established. The sense of purpose and unity was stronger than ever. As the meeting concluded, Reyes addressed the group with a sense of optimism and determination. We're building a future here on Novus, one that will support generations to come. Our success depends on our ability to adapt and work together. Let's take these next steps with confidence and determination. The colonists dispersed to their tasks, each team focused on their specific objectives. The construction crew began laying the groundwork for the new research lab and expanded greenhouse. The geological team prepared for the establishment of the mining outpost, while the agricultural team implemented new techniques to increase food production. In the midst of this activity, the communication team worked on improving their link with Earth. They set up a more robust satellite system, ensuring that messages and data could be transmitted more efficiently. This connection would be vital for coordinating future supply shipments and sharing their progress with the people back home. As the days turned into weeks, the settlement continued to grow and evolve. New structures rose, crops flourished, and the community thrived. The colonists adapted to their routines, their confidence in their abilities and in each other, growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, as the sun set over New Hope Valley, the colonists gathered for a communal meal. The atmosphere was one of camaraderie and celebration. They had come a long way since their arrival, and their achievements were a testament to their hard work and dedication. Commander Reyes stood up to address the group, her heart swelling with pride. "We've built something truly special here," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Our journey is far from over, but we've proven that we have the strength and determination to overcome any challenge. Let's continue to look ahead and build a future we're all proud of." The colonists cheered, their spirits lifted by Reyes's words. They were more than just survivors on a distant planet. They were pioneers, builders of a new world, united by their vision and driven by their determination. As the night fell and the stars twinkled above, Reyes looked out over the settlement. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment and hope for the future. They had laid the foundations of New Hope Valley, and now they were looking ahead to a future full of promise and possibility. "We're just getting started," she thought, a smile spreading across her face. "The best is yet to come." With renewed determination, the colonists of New Hope Valley pressed on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were building a new life on Planet Novus, one step at a time, and their future was bright.